That's fine.
Alright, people who should have something better to do, Kai is going to be reading a tale I found called Booty Call of Cthulhu. It looks fucking hilarious.
Alright.
Begin!
He's gonna be clattering away in the background, it seems, because he's typing is super loud. Alright, well, I mean, so, obviously, I need to point out that the tagline, I don't know, it's like, it has tags on this book.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Didn't it have like tags like dubious consent?
Dubious consent erotica. So the tags are paranormal, tentacles, dubious consent erotica. Because, you know, you can't just tag it rape, because that's not okay, so... It was published by Midnight Climax Publishing.
It's obviously gonna be rape though, why not just say rape?
You can't say that, Bowie.
Why not?
If you enjoy this book, please rate and review it. It influences what I will write next.
I think you should write a suicide note, buddy.
So, it has like the thing where it starts. Wait, this is 16 pages, and then there's a sample from a different. This isn't even as many pages as I thought there was. It's 16 pages. Well, 15, because page 16 is just blank. And then there's a sample from a completely different book. And then we got blank page, and then half blank page with just something written at the bottom. And then blank page, blank page, blank page, blank page.
I don't know, I just went on the Amazon page for this fucking book, and there are so many shitty looking ones. Workplace relations. I'm still gonna read that.
It opens like, you know, when you have a book and it has chapters, and you'll have like the start of each chapter. It's kind of like the top half of the page is empty and has the chapter number, and then there's the bottom half of the page starts the actual chapter. This is like that, except there's no chapter number. It's just the top half is empty at the start. It starts halfway down a page.
Oh, they got this one, Kai. It's called "Will Work for Sex."
Wait, so that's like a reverse prostitute?
I don't know. It doesn't have anything written about it.
They're being paid in sex.
There is also how to really self-publish erotica, writing erotica.
How to really do it though. I don't just want to know how to do it. I want to know how to really do it.
And Big Black Bimbo.
Should have known not to drink while other people were talking.
It's the only time you have to drink, though.
It's a foggy, cool morning in my small town on the coast of Massachusetts. Looking out of the window at the cloudy sky, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the glass. Fine. I look so tired. That's an entire sentence.
No.
My messy, long blonde hair embarrasses me a bit. My large, pouty lips form a frown as I hold back a sigh. Snapping a hair tie off my wrist. I mean, can't use it if you just break it off. That's not how it works.
I have to point out, sorry, there is one of these books called A Bicycle Orgy. Max and Talia are living happily now. No more huge arguments, no more withholding sex. When Talia receives an invitation to a bike ride that she and Max are required to attend.
Required?
Instead, she finds a kinky bisexual...
No, wait, sorry. Did that say required?
Yes.
Okay, this is a mandatory bike ride.
Instead, she finds a kinky bisexual slutty dildo bike race, where the men and the women are both fucked by their bikes.
It's mandatory.
This 3,000-word story includes graphic dildo use, oral sex, bisexuality, and kinky sex scenes. Also, it is showing up at your house.
Mandatory dildo bike ride.
Mimo, do those happen in
Here's your
Bulgaria?
invitation.
Maybe.
Mimo doesn't get any invitations.
Oh no, wait. Invitations were too poor to send those kinds of things.
Yeah, you receive a messenger. My lord, I have a message to deliver. Snapping a hair tie off my wrist, I use it to bind my hair into a messy bun until I feel like I can afford to hop into the shower.
Okay, I don't
I
usually
get in the shower
like,
until I put my hair up.
Don't you usually like put your hair up after the shower?
Who
Isn't
knows?
the point of a shower that you wash
Maybe they
your
didn't want to
hair?
get their hair wet.
I guess.
When you're a freelance writer, everyday life can be hard to keep up with. I wonder if the author was projecting at all. Well, what am
No.
I talking about? I'm sure they're not freelance. I'm sure they have many publishing companies vying for their works.
I'm sure they ever make money.
I have dishes piling up in the kitchen and another stack of plates on my desk. You know, when you're a freelance writer, it's so difficult to do washing up.
I can't look after myself.
You get so much ink on your hands, it's impossible to wash things. If only my quills didn't keep snapping. I have plenty of time to myself. But I'm also a bit of a loner and only leave the house when I realize I haven't eaten in a day because of a lack of food. That's the only time they ever leave, is after a day of starvation.
I'm a bit of a loner, and I also don't talk to anyone. I am a good author, please.
Checking on the internet, I see that today is supposed to be a warm one. Perfect beach weather.
She just
why
said
is
she
that
doesn't leave the
relevant?
fucking house, though.
I consider calling a friend I haven't spoken to in a month and asking her to go for a swim with me. I immediately shake my head. Because I never leave the house other than to buy food because I'm starving. Why would I do anything like that? Nah, I say out loud for no reason. My dainty hands fall on top of a book I am using to research my next novel. I'll just go alone and sunbathe. Yeah, no, fuck talking to people that I know. I'll just go by myself.
Isn't that worse, though? Like, being on your own in that sort of place that's just kind of depressing.
Yeah, man. Everyone knows that if you have friends, it protects you from Cthulhu. I pick up the heavy tome, cover leather-bound and worn with age. On it is drawn a symbol that is used by many groups of people, including neo-pagans, called a pentagram. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but it's called a pentagram.
What the fuck is it? Like, I know what neo and I know what pagans are, but what the fuck is a neo-pagan? Those
I
are...
don't know, it's just... I don't think you really get neo-pagans. Like, isn't the point of paganism that it's kind of holding to old ways and beliefs?
Yeah, like,
can't
if it
be
was a
neo-pagan.
reformed sort of fucking religion, then sure. But the whole point of paganism is that it's not a reformed fucking religion. It's the old, shitty Gaulic and Germanic tribes' religion.
The star in a circle is burned deep into the cow's flesh. It's not just leather, there's flesh on there. And is the only mark on the outside of the book. So far, the contents have seemed to just be insane ramblings.
I'm surprised they're in fucking English, but enjoy, friend.
I need to do some research for my next novel. Yeah, this book looks good. All it's got is a pentagram on the front. Let's just have a look. Yep, none of this makes sense. Perfect.
I think she's writing Sonic fanfiction.
When you start researching the paranormal, you'll run into things like that. Mad men telling others their twisted, fevered dreams. Book speaks of monsters and other worlds, and so while it is very interesting, I'm having a hard time taking it seriously. Yeah, you and me both. Oh shit! Studies at Miskatonic University!
Mr. Tonic University?
Yeah, Miskatonic University. It's like, the Miskatonic is one of the more frequent settings in Lovecraft.
Fair enough.
One of my professors at Miskatonic University recommended it to me when I mentioned I was going to write something with monsters. Yeah, I'm gonna write something with monsters. Oh yeah, you'll like this book.
I couldn't understand it myself.
Many of
You'll
my
love
friends have
it.
been murdered by otherworldly beings reading this book. You'll love
Our special guest star is very quiet. Fuck you, Mimo.
No, fuck me. Oh wait.
Whatever you do, he warned me, do not read the chants out loud. Joe, I am serious. I held my hands in his, and I felt my face flushed with his care for me. Turning away, he flipped open the cover and scribbled something inside. He just defaced this book.
He's just like, mate, this book is really dangerous. But you want to write a novel about like summoning? This is pretty cool. You know, like it's killed many, many people. Fuck it. Here you go.
Like, the fact that he tells her not to read it out loud means he's fully aware
Yeah.
of the consequences, or at least knows there's something up with it, and he's just like, yeah, here you go.
Here you go. I assume you want this for a frivolous reason. Cool. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna give you a vague warning. Fuck you.
I opened the cover of the book and let my hand trace over the words. To Joanne Ray Lagrasse. I pray only that you heed my warning. That's what he wrote in it.
The
Remember,
ravings
don't
of a
read these out
madman.
loud. When I looked back up to thank him, there was fear in his grey. I thought he was just gonna be like, he was gone. There was fear in his grey eyes. It was wiped away with a smile and a hug, but it shakes me to my core this day. But then I just didn't worry about it, and I took the book.
Why did
It's a graduation gift.
Why did he give the book? Why did she take the book?
I
This
hope
book.
you'll remember me while reading it. At the time, I found it funny he would write such a grave warning on the inside of a graduation.
At the time, I
was-
found it funny that this man was full of fear and wrote a terrible warning.
I was really terrified, but it was also funny. But I shrugged it off and took the strange text home with me.
It seemed like useful for writing my book, even though it offers no practical help.
He killed himself only weeks later.
What an asshole! Why did he give
I'm
away the
laughing.
book?
He is a truly free man. Both wrists slit, blood down the bathtub drain, and with no suicide note. He didn't even put the plug in. They could have used that blood. I heard through a friend they thought huge amounts. Heard through a friend they found huge amounts of LSD in his system, so everyone was assuming it was a suicide after a bad trip. I mean, people often just commit suicide because they've had a bad trip. I mean, like accidentally hurt themselves and stuff like that. Sure, but
I've never heard of anyone doing that in a bad trip. Like, I've
It's
heard
not
of them, like,
LSD.
accidentally jumping off buildings
yeah,
and shit
like
that.
doing stupid shit and accidentally killing or severely injuring themselves.
But,
Yeah, but not
slitting
just
your
being like,
wrists
oh
is-
man, that I had a bad time.
Slitting your
I'll
wrist
kill
is
myself.
a very active thing.
When he died, I couldn't even bring myself to open his gift for a few months after I heard. The man may have never seemed entirely sane, but I never expected him to kill himself.
It wasn't
I
really
still
a gift.
grieve
He
for
kind
him.
of wrote, like, a warning and then was just like, don't actually read this, come on.
Really, don't read this thing.
I
that
don't
I'm
know why I
reading.
gave it
It's
to you
bad.
for help, but I'm gonna go kill
Alright,
myself
see ya.
now.
I'm gonna go take loads of LSD and kill myself. Alright, it was probably fourth dimensional LSD.
No, because then they wouldn't have found it in the bloodstream.
Maybe they have fourth dimensional LSD trackers. He was an amazing professor who taught me so much. Since I've started my research again, however, I've been wondering if perhaps he thought what was written on these old decaying pages was the truth. But that's absurd, of course. No one would possibly think that.
You know, if I got a book where a guy was just, like, terrified of giving it to me, warned me not to read the chants out loud, and then he fucking offed himself, I would probably believe him.
No, but if I had a book where a guy was terrified of giving it to me, but he also just gave it to me, I would assume he was taking the piss.
Yeah, but what happened if he offed himself, like, the next couple of days?
Well, clearly he had a bad trip. That's nothing to do with it.
Oh, I don't know. I probably would follow his advice. I'm gonna be honest.
I place the thick book into my bag and pack up a beach towel as well, hoping that I will be less disturbed by the words held within it if I'm in the sun surrounded by others. I walk down the short hallway of my apartment and into my small bathroom. The grey walls are peeling, and some of the tiles on the floor are cracking. There is a slight smell of mold due to the lack of proper air circulation, but I've grown accustomed to these things.
Mold's really bad for you. Deal with that.
No, it's okay. It doesn't go into our lungs because there's no air circulation. It's okay. She's grown accustomed to it. See, she's developing a resistance to molds. So it works. Pulling my hair out of the bun.
What? You just put it into the fucking bun. God damn it.
And placing my clothes in a pile on the floor, I turn to the counter opposite the shower and flip on the CD page. I was like, maybe she already had the shower and it just didn't say, but no, she's about to get in the shower. She put her hair up to go in the shower and then she takes it out when she gets there. She's gonna have her hair down if she was walking to the shower. That's what was important. I find ambient music online by unknown artists and I play them while I shower to help my creativity.
This is important to the story.
It's important that I don't know who the artist is.
I feel the need to mention this as an author.
Everyone always say they do their best thinking while showering, and I am no exception. The music on the CD is darker than usual, but fits with my story. Wait, me. With the water heated, I step into the bathtub, and as my body is numbed under the hard stream of hot water, my mind wanders to the world I've created.
It involved the pentagram and insane madman's ramblings, which are somehow relevant.
My character, a girl of only 18, has found herself stranded on an island, attacked by fish people. Oh man, I don't know, this sounds like a good story. As she runs from the monstrous man, she finds a cave on the coast that she hopes to use as shelter. Yeah, I'm writing this book. In it, the main character is an author, and here's where she describes what is happening in her book to you in my book.
Here's where she describes a much better story than the one you're currently reading.
As she wanders into it, however, it leads her lower and lower into a cavern below water level. The darkness is only broken by the small flashlight in her hands, and her aching body is startled into a jump when a low groan echoes off the walls. A slimy tentacle climbs toward her, unknown to her. Not until the probing tendril is wrapped around her leg that she realizes she's trapped by a horrible large monster.
Oh no, spooky.
My mind continues to wander, off track of the story plan now. Girl being trapped has caught my own character in my book has caught my interest.
I wasn't interested in this character before now.
Okay. Let me just drink.
Yeah, good point.
Girl being trapped has caught my interest, and my imagination allows the slimy thing to wander up her legs. Her screaming stopped now as she gives in. Oh, well.
But she gave up really
it
fucking
was on
quick.
my leg, and now it's up my leg, so I guess that's it.
I give up.
My wet hands caress my stomach as they slowly wander down towards my trimmed mount.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. I muffle a moan as my fingertips touch my clitoris, while I continue to imagine my character being molested by this tentacled monster. Tentacle slipping up her skirt and rubbing against her slit.
I take back what I said earlier. This is not a better story.
Feel like maybe this was written by a male author.
No, it's a female.
Is it?
Yup.
Okay.
Well, at least it says so on the Amazon page.
As my mind shows me the slimy appendage invading a tight hole, my fingers slip into my own. I pump them in and out of me with heavy breaths, stroking my G-spot and bringing myself closer to orgasm. In my imagination, a second tentacle attacks the girl's rib. He's just like, yeah, I got a knife. And as I envision her being forced into an orgasm while being stuffed in both holes, I cry out in ecstasy as my juices spill out over my head. Okay.
Get out.
I open my eyes. My breathing slows as I bring my fingers up to my mouth, licking my sticky girl cum. No, this isn't written by a female. No way.
It's
No way. There's a
biography.
female.
Dahlia.
Use the term sticky girl cum.
Biography. Dahlia Dudelin is a young erotica and romance author. She started writing and self-publishing in 2012 and hasn't looked back since. And she has a
No,
website which I was going
don't
on to
believe it.
verify more, but the website has since shut down. Surprising to me.
It tastes tangy, but good. I let out a muffled moan before soaping up my body, rubbing my nipples roughly as I recover from my orgasm. I rinse myself off and shut off the water, slipping out of the shower and over to the mirror with my towel wrapped around me. That's it. I'm done now.
Yeah, this is fine.
I put my hair up.
God damn it! Fuck you! Why is...
No reason to blow dry if I'm going to swim after all. I step into my bikini bottom and slide my top over my breasts, adjusting them into the fabric. The bright colours hurt my eyes a bit.
my
Realize I've been
clothes...
spending way too much time inside. I never see colours inside my house.
I never see colours on the clothes I am wearing. I am blind.
I throw a sundress over me and pack up the rest of my beach stuff. Sunscreen, water bottles, a pack of chips, and a towel. I'm lucky enough to live only a few blocks away from the beach, so I don't even bother getting into my car. The trip is pleasant enough as I breathe in the sea air and walk down the street in my flip-flops, my messenger bag slapping against my ass with each step. My sunglasses obscure my eyes, allowing me to see when a man notices me. I think you can see that without sunglasses, in fact.
No.
Most raise their eyebrows and turn their heads just slightly to get a better look of me from the front. Yeah, by the way, my character is really hot and everyone finds them attractive because they're super hot, just so you know.
I think it's more just like, wow, she actually came outside? I didn't even know that was fucking possible.
Everyone in the town knows her and is very surprised when they see her out the house.
Yeah, all I hear is just the masturbation noises from her house, and then that's it.
But as I pass them, their neck cranes to check out my behind. Enjoying the attention, I begin to hum happily with a small, sly smile. As I near the beach, I'm relieved to see it's not overly busy. My feet digging into the warm sand, I walk awkwardly towards the coast. Why are you walking so awkwardly?
She hasn't been outside in years.
Looking for a secluded but sunny spot in which to read. Laughter and the barks of dogs out for a walk surround me, and I can't help but smile a bit. I spot an area near a large boulder and wander over there to get set up, a good 40 feet from anyone else. I mean, 40 feet isn't that far away.
Yeah, you'd still be annoyed by the noises and stuff.
Distance allows for some peace and quiet as I slip off my sundress and lay down my large beach towel, its colours bright and happy. I set my bag on a corner and toss the dress on another corner of the towel to keep it weighed down. I don't think a sundress is going to keep a towel weighed down.
No, it will not.
Flopping down next to my bag and sitting cross-legged, I flip open the top and pull out the leather book and gently caress the fabric with my fingers.
Maybe they were just staring at her because she had a fucking Cthulhu book.
Leather isn't a fabric.
No, it's not. But maybe they were just staring at it because she was carrying a fucking book marked with a thing.
Oh, that was in her bag, Boney.
Oh, yeah. Maybe her bag's fucking see-through.
They sensed its presence. I gently caress the fabric with my fingers, a small shiver running down my spine. Finding the string tied to my bookmark, I open up to the weathered page I had left off on. and continue reading about the curiously horrific monster named Cthulhu. The curious author of this book does not describe the creature much, saying only that Cthulhu, I mean, it's not really something you can describe, it's a fourth-dimensional being.
Yeah, like the whole fucking concept of
like,
Cthulhu is that he's not described ever.
It's like not even a fourth-dimensional being, it's the three-dimensional representation of a fourth-dimensional being. That's fine. Saying only that Cthulhu is an unbelievably large, tentacled horror that would certainly bend or break the mind of any who see him. I consider for a second how the author might know this. But remember how mad he seems at all times. Yeah, for a second I'm just like, wait, how does he have this information? Oh wait, this guy's fucking insane! Never mind.
Yeah.
About the center of the page, I come across these words. You know, standard, what'd you call it? In his house at Ryla, Dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. It has it in the original, I don't know, Lovecraftian. Is there ever a name given to the language?
I don't remember. I haven't read Lovecraft in a while. And I didn't really
Anyway.
like Lovecraft as much as some of the other
It's
authors I
that,
read.
the most generic, well-known passage from Lovecraft.
Right. Okay.
I ponder this for a moment. The words seem so foreign for some reason. So alien, as if they would be impossible to properly pronounce. I go over the untranslated sentence, mouthing how I think it would sound. I do this for a few moments until I think I've got it. Deciding to try it out loud. I clear my throat and check to make sure no one is close enough to hear it.
Hey, that one guy said, no, don't do that thing. Let's do it!
I know this guy told me not to do this, but I just really want to know if I can pronounce these words. Very important to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Meekly, I eye the words again and open my mouth. I'm not going to try and say these words.
Have a go. Come on, guy.
Fun Bluey Mugluanaf Cthulhu Relay Waganagal Fatan. Here you go.
Okay.
The last word burst out of my mouth with unexpected force,
Okay,
as if I had no control over it. I cover my mouth in surprise and look around again, hoping no one was now watching me. Seeing that I'm still being ignored, I relax and turn my attention
Wait, you
back
weren't
to
being ignored
continuing
5
to read.
seconds ago, though. Everyone was trying to stare at your ass.
No, she's saying down, they can't look at her ass anymore.
Okay.
Or maybe it's only females on this beach.
No, because there were
And
guys
dogs.
on the beach who were staring at her ass.
No, that was on the way to the beach. Come on, Romy, keep up.
Okay. Well, the beach was only 20 meters away from my house, though.
20 minutes away, not 20 meters away.
Oh, okay. I am obviously paying attention. I am very concerned. I've started going on her Twitter, right? And
Sure.
there are at least 3 pages of, like, 3 pictures of just men standing in front of babies, and then her writing something like, I worship his manhood, I love it, slobber on it, suck on it, I taste every
I'm
bit of
looking
it.
at it now.
But it looks really concerning when there's babies in front of the guy.
What is this?
This is the woman's Twitter.
I know, but what is this?
I don't know. Like, there's more than one. There's 3 of these fucking things.
I mean, this is obviously the thumbnail for this video.
I am not sure if I'm entirely comfortable with that. I mean, it just keeps going.
Miss Brandy K presents Broken. Same Babby, though, I think.
Yeah, this one's a different one.
Same picture of a Babby, never mind same Babby. Yeah, that's a different Babby. Blood and something.
It's
Okay.
vaguely concerning.
Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it.
I kind of do.
Don't worry about it.
I
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
As I reach the end of the section on the Dread God Cthulhu, I shut the book and sit for a moment. Didn't
Wait.
read much, did she?
Well, she's, she's not used to reading.
Enjoying the warmth of the sun. There's a deep hum in the air, rumbling just loud enough to be heard. I feel curiously drawn to the water now, my mind feeling as if it's in a fog. Maybe I'm just tired from this boring book, I muse to myself.
Why are you reading it? It's not helping you in
Shaking
any
it.
way.
No,
You're
but
finding it boring.
no. Shaking out my blonde hair from its binds and standing
God damn it! Could you keep your hair in one fucking position for like more than 10 minutes? You fucking cunt.
Oh, fuck.
God
I forgot I just opened a full can and almost just poured it over myself trying to drink. Facing the ocean, I stride toward it and poke my toe into the cold water. My skin is overheated from being in the sun so long.
You've
So
been
the
in there
cool
like
wetness.
no, you've literally read 3 lines from your book, and then and now you're just too tired. It's too hot. You need to get in the water.
So the cool wetness is a pleasant feeling as I wade deeper into the water until it is up to my breasts. The humming is louder now, but I choose to ignore it. This probably isn't anything.
This
should be
isn't
worried
my
about.
concern. It's like fucking death from Terry Pratchett. Just well, yeah, but people don't see. Do you think that could be a horse up here? Well, no. Exactly. No one does, so you can do anything.
But I choose to ignore it and dive into the water, allowing my body to fully acclimate to the cold. I wave my arms, pulling my body to the bottom of this shallow spot in the ocean. No, you don't swim by just waving your arm. It's like, whoa!
I don't know what you're talking about. I've always swam by telepathy.
That's not waving your arms.
Well, yeah, you have to wave. I swim by,
No,
for
you wave
telepathy.
your arms to move other things. When you're moving yourself, you obviously have to place your fingers to your temples, Bomey.
No.
Everyone knows that.
See, the other things I move are my internal organs. I
Yeah, that's
move
fine.
them, and then I drag myself along with them.
This provides inertia to propel me forward.
Yeah. It works for me.
Pulling my body to the bottom of this shallow spot in the ocean, wanting to stay here for a few moments. The humming is somehow louder under the water, causing my whole body to vibrate. Feel something wrap around my foot.
It seems like it's it's related to that tale she was telling earlier.
Worrying it's seaweed, like, oh no, I really hope seaweed hasn't vaguely draped over my leg in this extremely shallow portion of the ocean.
Maybe should actually swim
I
then.
kick it off me and swim back to the surface. Rubbing the salty water from my eyes, I look below me, trying to see what grabbed me. You can't rub the salty water from your eyes, your hands have salty water on them too.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
She keep her hands above the water while she was swimming.
Look, if soap gets in your eyes, you have to wash it up with more soap. Because soap cleans stuff. So
I'd
get
argue
rid
with
of
that.
the soap in your eyes.
Since I look below me, trying to see what grabbed me. But all I see is the clean ocean floor. Another shudder races through me. Looking back to my spot, I see that I left the book open by accident, and I worry that a bird might poop on it or something else might happen.
But you're not worried about leaving all your shit right next to random people.
So I start to swim back to the coast. Before I even get 3 strokes out, though, my ankle is caught again by the seaweed. I thrash my foot back, but to no avail. I turn to try and see what has me, but instead I am pulled underwater, with no time to take a breath before being sunk. My lungs quickly start to ache as I'm pulled further out to sea. Just as I feel the world going black, I am thrust back above water, allowing me to take a deep breath. And to scream! Oh, spooky!
Oh no, spooked.
I look up to the sky and find I am being held by the ankle by some gigantic tentacle, pulsating and throbbing its wet and slimy suckers on my flesh. I thrash my body, trying in vain to detach myself from the horrifying appendage. A booming roar is heard, and I look below me to the ocean to find a gigantic head rising up. The size of it is astounding, absolutely horrifying. Larger than a great blue whale twice over, easily.
What, do you
The
have
blood-
like? I've got to admit, I would think I would have to see a great blue whale in person to truly appreciate the size.
I've seen the one at the Natural History Museum.
Yeah, I know, but I wouldn't be able to place it in just a random place.
Maybe there was blue whales flanking him.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Maybe they were just like when he moved, there were two
Maybe
blue
it
whales
was
on
just
top
a
of his
pair of
head.
blue whales and it wasn't Cthulhu at all.
Yeah, it makes him seem taller.
He's just standing on a pair of whales. The large black eyes seem like black holes into which any hope or sanity I held is quickly absconding. Yeah, I'll use a long word, then people will know that I'm a good author.
I don't even think that makes complete sense in this fucking context. And it doesn't really, because it's supposed. I mean,
Isn't absconding just kind of
leaving hurriedly,
escaping?
but it,
Yeah.
it implies people and avoiding,
Well,
issues. But it's a bit pedantic of me to bring that up, but I don't really like. I really hate it when authors
I
do
quiver and shriek, absolutely losing my mind. The tentacles that cover what would be the creature's mouth billow forward with a loud, thundering wail that threatens to make me deaf. With my
Buddy, was
ears
moved to
ringing
your
and an
channel.
inability to move. Oh, Az is here.
Yeah, we
Welcome
have
to the
another
party,
special
Az.
guest.
Yeah.
Our other special guest has spoken
Special
twice.
guest starring number 2 Az. Maybe he'll
Oh,
talk
I
more than
see-
Mimo, who is
I
muted
see
himself.
Mimo.
Well, would you like to listen to my?
Well,
We would
that's
like
true.
to
I
hear
don't
your
want to hear your
voice when you
furious
laugh at
clattering,
stuff,
but
Mimo.
yeah, you can join in and comment on how stupid this is. Just don't hold your mic right next to your keyboard.
Or just
Mimo,
mute
is
again
your
after you
mic
finish.
built
But
into
no,
your
it's
keyboard?
not. It's on my headphones, which are not
Sure.
close to the
Your
keyboard.
keyboard's on your headphones?
That'd be so good. I bet that exists.
No,
Oh,
just-
you know it does,
A
buddy.
fucking headset with integrated keyboard. Alright, let me just
come on, guys.
headset integrate keyboard. I'm typing one-handed because I'm holding the button. No, now I've just got loads of results for musical keyboards with integrated headsets. Oh well, I tried. Not very hard, but I tried.
How
where
do
did
you
I get
feel?
to?
She was frozen in fear, I think.
I quiver and shriek, absolutely losing my mind. The tentacles that cover what would be the creature's mouth billow forward with a loud, thundering wail that threatens to make me deaf. With my ears ringing and an inability to move, all I can do is watch the giant thing. Okay. I was actually surprised at how coherent and not wrong most of the sentences and spelling were so far, but here we go. All I can do is watch as the giant thing raises even further.
Why
Its
did
head
it?
climbing to the clouds.
I was like, man, I paid for this one. Hopefully it'll be better than Sonic fanfiction. And then no.
I hope for Paul Grammer it's more amusing. Miles below, I am now being held up by a number of tentacles, each pulsating around me. As I tried to pull myself
Why are
together,
the tentacles pulsating?
he's
'Cause it's
being
more
held
hot.
by the heart.
That sounds worrying. Why would that doesn't sound like a very good system for any creature to you do?
No, because then it's good. As I tried to pull myself
agree with that.
together, I feel one slimy appendage creep up my thigh. One that was behind my back wraps instead around my arms and waist, holding me tightly in place. I feel a sharp jab in my left arm, as if I've been pricked by a needle, and my body goes limp so that I cannot fight. Cthulhu fucking roofied her.
It's not like he needs to roofie her either, cause she was totally into it when she was jacking off to him like 5 seconds ago.
I'm glad I walked in on this.
It's
I
good. It's
feel
better
like
when you join
shouldn't
halfway
be.
through. All you missed was her putting her hair up and down 4 times. She put her hair up to go into the shower, and when she got to the shower, she put it back down again to get in.
Also, she got
as soon
this
as
book.
She got out.
She got
She
this
puts it
book
back
from
up
this
again.
professor, and the professor was like terrified as he gave her the book, but gave her the book because it was kind of
He was
helpful for
terrified.
her novel.
He was like, "Do not read any of this out loud." But here you go, by the way.
It will be vaguely helpful for this novel. And it wasn't helpful at all, because it doesn't actually
And then he
contain
killed
anything about
himself.
the thing. And then he fucking got high on LSD and slit his wrist.
It's like a very bizarre story.
Dude,
Right.
it is... I have to admit, I've already bought Kai one of the sequels.
Oh
It is...
no! Wait, sequels or just other books by the author?
I got you the bicycle orgy one.
Oh, good.
Wait. How does that work? Are they on the bicycle?
Were
The
you listening
bicycles
earlier,
have
Mimo?
dildos.
Mandatory bike rides.
I mean, I assume it involves two handles.
No, the bicycles have dildos on their seats, friend.
Or wait, is it an orgy between bicycles? Like,
No, later on it turns into an orgy.
They
Seen that one
received
before.
an
It's good.
invitation to a mandatory bike ride. This is like how people that went to one of the colleges in Huddersfield had to do mandatory volunteer work. The tentacle still creeping up my thigh finds the edge of my bathing suit bottom and, sliding it to the side, rubs itself sucker side up against my slit. Why do they keep calling it a slit? It rubs me. My numb body gets hot, and I can feel myself. No, you can't. You're numb. You can't feel yourself anything.
No, she can't.
I can
Don't
feel
worry about it.
myself getting hornier and hornier. Who cares about anything that's going on? This is pretty hot. I'm fine
Who
with
cares
this.
about the fact that there's this giant fucking monster that has just
I'm in the
injected
middle of
me
the
with
ocean
roofies?
somewhere.
I'm kind of into this. Let me jack it.
It's
wish
more
I-
impressive that Cthulhu can produce roofies in his body without being affected by it himself.
Look, man.
It's
He's
fine. He only stores them
four-dimensional.
in the third dimension.
Yeah, see, all he does is he injects time into them, and then it causes them issues.
I moan as a sucker hits my clitoris.
How can you
Nursing
feel
on
it? You're numb.
harshly before being pulled off. No, he has very local anesthetic.
Okay, that's fine.
Nursing on it harshly before being pulled off. Another slippery feeler presses under my breasts. The end flicking up my bikini top and sucking on my nipple roughly. More tentacles approach, either binding me tightly or feeling up my body. Like, if there's that many, how are they feeling up your body when some of them are just, like, grabbing you?
4 dimensions.
Oh man, I can't believe Bowie didn't just say that he was going for a piss in the recording.
I know, right?
And didn't assume that I would immediately comment on it. What an asshole.
He thinks I can hold a conversation.
Keep talking. Go on.
This is like in some of the videos we already have, where he tries to like count us into the recording to like be vaguely professional, but then the recording starts with me saying, "Why are you counting us in? That's fucking stupid." Oh, fuck. More tentacles approach, either binding me tightly or feeling up my body. I moan as my cunt. You can't say that word. Oh,
I
it's
think
hotter and hotter.
I think your videos are already demonetized. It's fine.
I don't think we ever tried to monetize them. I think Bobby specifically didn't monetize them in the first place. He didn't
enough.
want to receive anything for this. He didn't want any acknowledgement of their existence.
I honestly didn't know that you could refuse monetization.
wait, he doesn't want to. But every time I find a new friend, I always give them the videos.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I moan as my gun gets hotter and hotter, desire taking over completely. With my mouth open, a tentacle takes the opportunity to jam itself down my throat, fucking me harshly. I mean, I don't think that would be enjoyable.
No.
Even if you like that kind of thing, a tentacle isn't exactly the same.
No,
No,
no, it's
fine.
not.
Don't you want, like, suckers, like, sticking to the inside of your throat, Kai?
And tearing your throat out.
I can't choke, I can't even breathe. The thing so invades me. It
What?
swells and pumps some sort of goo into me before withdrawing, and allowing another tentacle to feel its way around my
Wait, what?
mouth. What is it?
I can't. I heard I can't breathe, but also something else.
I can't choke, I can't even breathe.
I can't choke, I can't even breathe. What?
Well, because there's a tentacle in her mouth, Faz.
But not breathing implies choking.
No, but she can't choke, there's a tentacle in her mouth.
So they're choking.
No, her
us.
body's numb as there's no choke reflex.
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah, but she can
Come
still
on,
feel like getting fucking like sexually molested.
Yeah, it's a local anesthetic. It affects everywhere except her tits and ass and pussy.
And throat. Don't forget
Cthulhu's
that.
very good at conjecture. Dubious
This one-
consent.
This one is thinner and allows for gasps of breath. As I get used to being fucked in the throat, I feel two tentacles working in unison to pull down my bathing suit bottom before climbing back up my legs to my cunt. The fat appendages slither on my womanhood. No, I can't accept that a woman wrote this. The terms they use, I just can't accept it. Despite all the evidence you provided, I cannot accept that a woman wrote this.
Does it have
It's
like a biography of the author on the back?
No, sorry. The fat appendages slither on my womanhood, splicking me up. Let me just drink.
Yeah, I think that's a drink.
I'm glad I don't have any.
What as? Just because I'm 4 beers down already.
The largest of the two positions itself in front of my hole, and I brace myself. How? How? You have no control over your body.
She braces herself with her cunt muscles.
Telekinesis. I brace myself before I am violently penetrated by the thick meat. Here we go. Now it's getting Sonic-y.
No, it hasn't specified
rips
any
me in
periods of
two.
time yet. It has to do
Wiggles
that.
inside of me. It's goo coating every crevice of my sloppy hole. I moan as it
that's what I
hits
want
my
to read.
cervix and presses against it, moving in circles inside of me, flicking forcefully up. It hits my G-spot and rubs against the spongy mound. Fuck's sake.
What the fuck?
Driving me wild with ecstasy. In my passion, I regain a small ability to move. Oh, I'm so fucking turned on that I resist the anesthetic.
That doesn't just sound like you try to resist rape drugs. Dubious
kick my leg.
consent.
And kick my legs gently in an attempt to allow for better penetration. Yeah, can you fuck me better if I flail my legs around? Is that better? Is that better? She's like, no.
Okay.
Hey, how are you flailing your legs?
Like, there's no way for her to position herself better. It's a tentacle. It's fully dexterous. There's no position it needs to be
Nope.
in.
No, don't worry about it.
It isn't until I feel the second tentacle pressing against my hole that I get worried. The second one is trying to force its way in at the same time as the first.
Oh no.
I gurgle a groan of pain and fear around the thin tentacle ramming itself down my throat. A tear streaming down my face as I look up at the monster that is fucking me silly. Please, my consent is only dubious.
Wait, what? Is that actually saying that?
It's just that one of the taglines for this book is dubious consent erotica. Because obviously they don't want to tag it with rape, because rape is bad. So it's called dubious consent.
Perfect.
Fine.
A moment of painful pleasure gives way to white-hot lust and pleasure once the second tentacle... Just like... Yeah, it hurts for a second, and then it's fine. Everything's fine again.
This, I do not have... Look, I'm horny. There's nothing else I can consider right now. Everything is fine.
This
I am
is
not
the female
heavily
body.
drugged.
This is
This-
what females are like.
This is
an accurate
consent, please.
representation.
This is not rape.
It may be dubious, but it's consent nonetheless. A moment of painful pleasure gives me... I mean, it's basically just like... it's kind of just the argument of you enjoyed it, so it's not rape, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
Which
it is
something people
completely
have
that.
Major issue with, because that's not true at all. Right, where did I get to? A moment of painful pleasure gives way to white-hot lust and pleasure once the second tentacle finds itself in my hole, and both begin to work in unison, fucking me until my single tear is many orgasmic salty drops falling into the ocean far below me.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I want
Completely
to
fine.
drink, but I can barely breathe.
It's completely fine.
I can't breathe, I can't choke. Only drink. As these two tentacles swell and fill me completely before shooting their sticky goo into my womb, another two ready themselves to take up the same position, just like, oh yeah, we're next, buddy.
It's the same creature, though.
Yeah, so
Like, how many penises does it have?
it's separate testes in each tentacle, obviously. It's fourth dimensional, it's the same one across all tentacles.
Why was this a thing? Why did fucking whatever made these creatures? Why did evolution decide that this was the best way for it to go about raping three-dimensional creatures?
Foamy, evolution doesn't decide anything, you idiot. It's just random. Come on.
I know, but
Idiot.
that sort of
Obviously, this
thing-
was the best option.
I mean,
I
are you
would-
saying that a creature with that many wouldn't pass off its offspring?
He's got a
yes, I
point.
am saying that because it can't impregnate a third-dimensional creature.
I would
mean-
imagine that any, like, any kind of offspring of Cthulhu would most likely just survive anyway. I don't think, like, survival of the fittest really comes into play when you're talking about fourth-dimensional elder gods.
Yeah, but the Cthulhu has to come around in the first place, and there was apparently a great war back in their times.
No, it's fine. The egg came first, and then Cthulhu hatched from the egg.
Fuck you.
I almost choked. Not even laughing, just randomly almost choking. Try and recover from choking. Just start reading anyway. Where did I get to?
She was about to get penetrated again.
Here we go. What I don't see, however, but I'm going to tell you about anyway, despite not knowing it's there. What I don't see, however, is a tentacle wandering up my backside. It penetrates my ass crack, its slime making me feel slightly dirty, but even hornier than before.
You're being raped in like 2 holes, and then you're just getting penetrated in third, and you're just now starting to feel that this might be a bad idea.
Oh, it's not bad, it's just dirty. Slimy.
You're literally in the middle of a beach, getting
No,
fucked.
she's in the middle of the ocean. It dragged her out into the ocean.
Can't people still see her?
No, it dragged her out into the ocean.
Okay.
Still being double stuffed in my cunt, I ache with anticipation for my first chance at anal. It's already inside you. What do you mean anticipation? The slimy appendage lubes up my hole, gently flicking at the pucker.
Okay, then.
That's fine.
It's so difficult drinking when I'm laughing so much. With little gasps escaping my lips, the tentacle at my rear prepares to enter me, slowly, agonizingly, with the tentacles in my cunt. Yep, okay. With the tentacles in my cunt, fuck me without mercy. Yep, there we go. That's another sentence, which is in this book, which obviously makes sense. Just as I think the pressure at my asshole is too much, the appendage breaks through. I thought it was just gonna snap. Like, yeah. His tentacle just breaks. Cthulhu isn't strong enough for my ass. The appendage breaks through and forces its way into my bowels, Yeah, that sounds comfortable. Fucking me hard and fast as I cry in pain and ecstasy. With each thrust from the 3 tentacles, my head falls back and forth since I can no longer control it as my orgasm builds up. Also, the fact that you have no control over your body.
Also, how is her head moving when she has a fucking tentacle shoved down her throat?
It snapped off.
No.
Yeah, because this one was thinner.
It was just thinner than the last one. It doesn't mean it's thin.
I can tell this is going to be a blackout orgasm. One that leaves me a spasming, gibbering mess for minutes as I recover. Why does
doesn't
she have
sound
to take so
healthy.
long to recover from every orgasm? Like,
Oh, female?
look, man, I have a girlfriend. The thin tentacle down my throat finally comes in me and removes itself, allowing for easier breathing. Thanks, buddy. The 2 tentacles in my cunt swell and stretch me as far as they can without tearing me. Oh, they're not even gonna sonic it. She's gonna stay intact. Filling me up so completely and pressing so hard against my cervix and G-spot that my orgasm can no longer be held back. With a high-pitched wail, I come as the 2 tentacles in my pussy gush their juices into me so harshly that they have to pull out. They're blasting with enough force to launch themselves out. Jesus Christ. No, never mind. That's definitely internal injuries.
No. Don't be silly.
Well, not as much as in Sonic, but you know.
I clearly missed something with Sonic.
Sonic
Oh,
speed
like-
fight.
The things it says in Sonic frequently imply that the person is just being severely damaged. Like, it doesn't say it explicitly, and it's clear the author didn't mean that. But if you were told, just read into what the author has written, it's just like, yeah, this person clearly has internal organ damage, or they've just been ripped open, or something like that. Or there's just frequent like fucking references to like their eyes just roll completely into the back of their head and stuff like that. Pretty great. My cunt now sopping with tentacle cum. And my pussy and my cunt now sopping with tentacle cum and my pussy. Those are the same body part.
No.
And my pussy and whole body twitching with waves of strong orgasms. Strong like bull. My tentacle lover and my ass pounds into me harder and faster.
Did she just say tentacle lover?
Yes. She's not referring to Cthulhu though, she's referring to that specific tentacle. The penetration in my ass only brings on more and more orgasms, and as I feel that appendage swell and come within me, I black out. I wake up on the beach. The sun is nearly down and the beach is empty. Everyone just left.
I'm not too worried about that person who got kidnapped by that giant monster. I cannot be fucked.
I found this hype-ass book though. It's got this weird symbol on it. Apparently it's called a pentagram.
From the new pagans.
Fucking neo-pagans, goddamn. Sitting up, I find the book open again to where I last left off. Yes, well, that's because you didn't close it. You commented on not having closed the book. Wait, what?
What?
I find the book open again to where I last left off. The bookmark snugly placed between the paper. What? How? It's open. How is the bookmark between the paper?
Just
Don't
wedged in
worry
there,
about
I
it.
guess.
Okay. I look at
fourth
the
dimension,
page.
Kai.
Oh, fuck, that's a good point. I look at the page about Cthulhu and back out to the water, wondering if it had all been a dream. But if it had been a dream, why do I feel so full? And why is there cum running out of my pussy and ass? No, I don't think it was a dream.
I mean, she's
Okay.
also naked and...
Oh, sorry. I was completely wrong. It's not even 16 pages. It ends on page 12, and then there's a sample from page 13 to 15, and then another sample from 17 to 18. which obviously we'll read.
What, the sample?
Yeah, why not? It's 4 pages.
Alright, well, we should stop the video after this one, but yeah. Is that
What?
it?
Just do these as part of the same video.
Okay.
How long has it been?
An hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Well,
No, it's
whatever.
fine.
You can start a new recording if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, fuck it. Was that the end of the story?
Yeah.
I don't
told you
think
it's
it
only
was a
12
dream.
pages long.
How long is this book?
12 pages.
How much
12
did it
page
cost?
The book itself.
£3.
The book itself, in terms of labeled pages, is 20 pages.
This
There's
doesn't
an
sound like a
extra
book.
one.
It's an erotica
Dude,
novel.
There's an extra 3 unlabeled pages.
I believe the correct term for this
Extra
would
4
be...
unlabeled pages. Novella.
Yeah, isn't this more of a short story?
It's erotica, as it doesn't matter. Regular terms don't apply. I remember when this arrived and I had to deliver it and I was like, what the hell is this? And I opened it and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot.
And now you get the new one.
I ordered a bigger memory card for my PSP, so now I'll have space to put Jurassic Prey on my PSP and have Jurassic Prey with me at all times wherever I go.
So we can show it to Ben at that film when we go to the pub.
Oh, I don't think it's going to arrive by then. It said it was going to take like a month to arrive.
Damn.
It's shipping from China or something.
We can't show Ben the Gillib scene.
Not enough people have seen it for it to be on YouTube. I mean, I still have it on my USB. So if you bring your laptop...
Yeah, sure, whatever. I remember.
Anyway, are we doing another recording,
Yeah,
or are
sure.
you still doing the same recording?
I'm still doing the same one because I'm lazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, so this is a sample from Taking His Tentacles.
God, it's another Cthulhu one?
A cold wind tossed my hair wildly and made the leaves around me shiver. I realized I should have put my clothes back on instead of wandering around the forest in my bikini. Pulling out my shirt and shorts, I tried to stand up. Something soft and cold wrapped around my wrist. I screamed and pulled away, turning around only to find myself staring at the chest of a man in a black suit. Oh, it's fucking G-Man. Shit. Or at least what looked like a black suit. It had no wrinkles and the tie seemed to be part of the shirt. It's just painted on.
It's just a tentacle. It was a tentacle all along.
I looked up into his face, or at least I would have, if he had one.
Wait, is it
Dun,
actually gonna be a
dun,
fucking tentacle?
Dun.
It was completely blank, a ghostly white color. No, it's fucking Slender Man.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I genuinely think it's Slender Man. I tried to tug my hand away from the black tendril extending from the thing's shoulder. He leaned down, seeming to stare into my face. I was screaming as loud as I could, trying to get away, needing to get away. I knew I was nowhere near the lake or the party, but there had to be a house or something around here that I could hide. Surely there's a house around here randomly in the woods somewhere. But why would there not be?
What,
My
in the
screaming
middle
and
of the
attempts at
woods?
getting away were ineffective, though. The being barely seemed real, though it stood right before me. More long tendrils shot from his impossibly long arms. Fucking fourth dimensional arms.
Well, yeah, those are the best kind of arms.
Wrapped around my limbs and pulled me closer. What seemed to be a suit grew more and more tentacles, the weird appendages with
Wait,
the
he
same
was a
wool
tentacle.
fabric look as the coat. No, it's Slenderman. It's clearly Slenderman movie.
Okay.
I screamed until my throat was raw. Blank white face, wearing a suit and tie, with tentacles coming out of his back/shoulders.
Fair enough.
Clearly Slenderman. I screamed until my throat was raw, my shrieks becoming nothing more than raspy breaths. The tall man's face was what horrified me most. I don't know if I could possibly describe it with English words.
Maybe some other language,
specifying English implies there's some other Earth native language you could use to describe it.
Maybe like Latin or something.
The pain of my screams overwhelmed me until finally I chose to just be silent.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
whatever.
I give up. The thin tendrils
Didn't try
wandered
very
over my
hard.
pale skin, making
Look, they never
goosebumps rise
do.
all over my body.
Dubious consent as.
A few of them tightened around both of my wrists and my ankles. Until then, the thing had been completely still, yet somehow grabbing me with tentacles. But it came to life as it leaned nearer to me. Yeah, hadn't it already moved its face close to hers as well. Its blank face seemed to examine mine. I heard what sounded like giggling, maybe of a child, but not from outside me. It was more like the giggling was coming from my own head.
Okay. It's a telepath.
Fucking telepaths. Fucking wizards.
There's nothing wrong with wizards.
Look, man. Clearly we've established
No,
that
look.
wizards are
no,
all
no,
assholes.
no.
Oh, I guess
Kai,
the rings
Kai.
were cursed rings.
Guys, it
What?
can't be a wizard if it's not wearing a giant blue pointy hat with stars.
He
on
hasn't
it.
specified whether or not it's wearing a hat. Only that it has no face. Lifting me, the monster pressed me against the nearest tree. I struggled against my captor, but if it let go of me, I knew I'd end up hurt. I might fall a few feet and hit the ground. I was up too high to come out of its hold unharmed. What the fuck forest is she in where, like, you can be pressed far enough up the trunk before branches start, the fall is enough to guarantee injury?
Must be
Like-
like
Is she in the fucking tropical rainforest or something?
She's in
An-
Canada.
I don't
An
think there's
alpine
many
forest or one of those
non-tropical
giant
forests. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure those still have regular trees in them.
yeah,
I don't
plot
know.
demands it.
I shouldn't have to answer this question. I am inebriated.
No, you have to answer now, Bobby. Now that you specified that you don't, you have to give an answer.
I answer no.
The plot demands it. That's why. Move on.
Seemingly endless numbers of thin tendrils extended from the monster's back, like monstrous wings that twitched and waved in a lurid display. They moved toward me, two wrapping around my neck, tight enough to make breathing harder, but not impossible. Another one slithered under my jawline before moving up and stroking my lips, pressing against them. It felt so weird. I tried to look away, but I found myself unable to move my body at all. Oh fuck, this guy's roofied her as well.
Well, that's all she knows is like roofies and rape.
My jaw went slack. My mouth opened just enough for the tentacle to slide in. Yeah, whatever. It went from a wool texture to something more slimy, a bit like another tongue.
So she starts the tentacle thing the same way she started the last one, with drugs, then throat fucking, and then more.
Sensing a
That's
formula.
fine. She's also in a bikini in this one as well. A few of the tentacles
Yeah, in the
pulled at my
forest.
bikini top, exposing my breast. Classic forest bikini. My nipples got hard at the cold air, the sensation of the tentacles squeezing my tits, making me moan despite being scared. More of them ran up my legs and brushed against my cunt before pulling down my bikini bottoms. They became the same texture as the tentacle in my mouth and then began to lash at my slit like a tongue licking me. That's the end of the excerpt.
Oh,
When we read the Sonic ones, I laugh at the kind of desperate variation in terminology. But then I read this one and I find myself thinking, can't they use a word other than cunt or slit?
I think it's just. I think it's fine. I think that this sort of shit shouldn't be written. It's fucking terrible.
Obviously. I assume we're just ignoring that point if we're reading
But
this.
I don't think you can write about like one part of a person's anatomy at one time, like consistently, without it either getting repetitive or stupid to try and not.
I just think that using the terms cunt and slit seems to be kind of intentionally trying to be derogatory to me.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with just saying vagina or pussy or something. Alright, and this is a sample from the Blackmailed Maid. And instantly all I can think of is the lusty Argonian maid.
Can I? can I check if it's M-A-L-E or M-A-I-L?
It's made.
No, blackmail.
Oh, it's spelled correctly.
No, but is it black space mail?
He's
Or is
asking
it
if you
black
mean
No,
black
mail?
man or...
blackmailed, all one word, M-A-I-L.
Oh, mailed. Okay, yeah. Continue, friend.
Sorry, I'm slightly tipsy now. Even further back in my mind, I secretly like it. This is the best part to start at. Just, yeah, I am referring to something that you don't know because this is partway through the story. I guess it encourages you to get the story? I don't know. The spankings stop, and for a brief second, I'm allowed to catch my breath. I couldn't breathe because I was being spanked too much, apparently. Apparently that's something that stops you breathing.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
My butt cheeks sting so bad I can't hold back a few sobs. His hand gently, tenderly caresses my ass cheeks. It hurts, but it's soothing at the same time. No. No, those two, I think, are mutually exclusive.
Silly.
Moving down slowly, his fingers press against my vulva, sliding up and down my pussy lips. Oh shit. I only just realized with the fact that there is speech here that there has been no speech throughout the rest of this story and the first excerpt. He says, "You're shaved and wet too." He slaps his fingers against my vulva, just hard enough for it to sting. Jesus Christ. Circling his fingers around my clitoris, he presses hard. He just pushes on it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's erotic. Don't worry about it.
I wiggle my ass in response, enjoying the feeling. I blush, and I moan. But then he slaps my clit with two fingers. The pain and pleasure mix and force me into orgasm instantly. My toes curling and my teeth clenching. He pulls his hand away from me, spinning me to face him. My knees wiggle beneath me. Why is she so wiggly? because they are weak. But what? Never mind. It answered my question. He presses down on my shoulder, and then he says, "Suck my cock." I'm mortified, my mouth dropping open, but there's nothing I can do. I am completely horrified at this. I can't believe he would ask me to do this. Oh my god. But there's nothing I can do. I guess I just do it, whatever.
Dubious consent.
Well, no, we don't know what the tags are for this one, Bobby. This is.
I'm going to stick with it. Should be dubious consent.
I slowly go down to my knees, my mouth at the same height as the tent in his pants.
What?
I go down on my knees, my mouth at the same height as the tent in his pants.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Nothing wrong with that.
I become acutely aware of the fact that, yes, I am actually wet. After scientific study, it turns out that, yes, in fact, I am wet. My panties are still down around my thighs, and my wetness threatens to drip down my skin and onto the floor. And who would have to clean that up? Oh, jeez, I am in this really
I'm being
heavy
raped.
situation, but man, I really hope I don't have to clean up after myself.
I'm being blackmailed to be forced into sex, but god damn it, if I'm gonna have to clean up his cum afterwards, fuck that.
We don't know it's blackmail. We have no context.
The
for
name of
what's
the
actually
fucking
going
thing
on.
is blackmail made.
No. Don't know.
We can
Could
infer.
assume. You know what they say, Bobby? To infer makes an ass out of you and me.
Ah,
I don't remember anyone
Classic
saying that.
inferring.
Wait, what?
What?
I turned the page and I'd forgotten what was the end of the last page. Oh yeah, who would have to clean that up? Certainly not Mr. Rodin. I watch Mr. Rodin's hands unbutton his pants, the brass button of his black slacks popping out of the hole. Slowly he pulls the brass zipper down. Zip! And down come his pants, leaving him in boxer briefs. Steel grey colour and tight enough for his bulge to be obvious. I mean, Boxer briefs aren't generally loose, so they just fall down.
No, it's fine.
There's a small wet spot where the tip of his cock touched and left a bit of precum. Evidence of his arousal. Ooh, I can tell that you're aroused. I couldn't tell by the massive raging erection. From a foot away, I can smell his manliness. It's clean, but still masculine.
I can smell that you are a male.
Give me a second to just drink as much as I can.
I finished my beer and I am already tipsy, so I don't want to drink any more.
Still, despite my horniness, I don't want to put him in my mouth. Look, man, I'm really enjoying this, but I'm not gonna fucking suck you off, mate. I whimper and look up at him with pleading eyes, which he ignores. I resist when his hand presses against my head, his fingers tangling in my hair, the ponytail now loose. I put my hair up.
No. No.
He sighs, pulling back that same hand and snapping it against my cheek. Snapping it against my cheek, what?
I think he's slapping you.
Yeah, I know, but that's such a weird word to use. The slap shocks me. Stop resisting, he commands. Tears sting my eyes again. I accept. He tells me to stop resisting, so I do. There's no reason I wouldn't obey what he says.
Dubious consent.
I allow him to push my head forward. My mouth opens and I stick my tongue out slightly, wetting his skin as his large hard cock moves into my mouth. I press my taste buds against his skin. I specifically press my individual taste buds against him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Swirling my tongue against him, twitches and lets out a small moan. I slide my tongue all around the base of his cock, stimulating him the way I read about in the fashion magazines I browse while shopping.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. That's normal and completely fine.
Blue is the new black. Also, here's how to suck dick.
It's fine.
Slowly, I let his shaft penetrate my throat. Jesus Christ, yep, she's got injuries. That's it, that's the end of that excerpt. Then there's a blank page, that's page 19. Page 20 is mostly blank. And then says to contact the Midnight Climax authors and has a phone number and email address.
I feel like.
And then there's a completely blank page, and then there's a completely blank page.
I feel like it earned my £3.50.
Midnight Climax Erotica is a small publishing company that seeks to find the best indie authors that are challenging the status quo. We're working to prove that independent authors can produce works just as beautiful, heart-wrenching, and poignant as those released by large publishing companies.
That's fine.
We are committed to bringing readers the very best, hottest stories available. Authors are capable of producing works as good as, like, authors with big publishing companies, and then they get picked up by big publishing companies because they're good.
No.
Writing shitty erotica does not prove any of that.
No.
Oh my god.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the end.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
You have made a horrible
That's
mistake by
fine.
listening to this.
That's fine.
Whoever.
That's fine.
Hopefully no one
No,
is
that's
listening
fine.
to this.
No, that's fine.